You're sitting on the edge of your bed. It's 3 in the morning. Your phone screen glows with news you didn't ask for. Your chest is tight. Your mind won't stop. And somewhere in the noise, a question forms that you can't shake. Is peace even possible when everything around you is falling apart? But here's what's strange. In the worst disaster zones on Earth, in places where homes are gone and futures are unknown, a small group of people report something that doesn't make sense. They feel calm, not numb, not broken. Calm, steady, present. And that fact changes everything about what peace really is. To understand how that's possible, we need to start with the one thing you carry with you every second of every day: your breath. Right now, your body is running a program. It's old, older than language, older than thought. When danger shows up, real or not, your heart speeds up. Your muscles tense. Stress chemicals flood your blood. This kept your ancestors alive. But in a world of constant alerts, it keeps you stuck. Here's what most people miss. The same system that speeds you up has a brake, and you can press it on purpose. When you slow your breathing down, when you stretch each inhale and each exhale to a few seconds longer than normal, something shifts inside your chest. Your heart slows. The flood of stress chemicals starts to dry up. This isn't a guess. In one study, just 2 minutes of slow, paced breathing dropped heart rate fast enough to measure. Not after weeks of practice. After 1 minute. Think about that. 1 minute to change the signal your body sends to your brain. And this matters because your brain listens to your body more than you think. When your heart is racing, your brain reads that as danger. It tightens your focus. It shuts down your ability to think clearly. But when your heart slows, your brain gets a different message. Safe. Present. Here. Most people try to calm their mind first. They tell themselves to stop worrying. They fight their thoughts. But that's like trying to stop a fire by yelling at it. The body is the lever. Pull the lever, and the mind follows. But calming the body is only the first step, because even when your heart rate drops, your thoughts can still spiral. You know the feeling. You're lying in bed, body still. Mind looping through the same worry like a song stuck on repeat. What if this happens? What if that goes wrong? What if I can't handle it? This is where a different kind of training comes in. Not controlling your thoughts, watching them. There's a difference between being caught in a storm and standing on shore, watching the waves roll in. The waves are the same. Your position changes everything. When people practice this kind of steady watching, something happens in the brain. The part that screams danger starts to quiet down. Not because the danger is gone, but because a different part, the part that plans and reasons and holds perspective, gets stronger. It grows. It thickens over time. Over 2 months of regular practice, anxiety scores in studies dropped sharply. Not in monks living on mountaintops. In regular people, students, office workers, people with bills and deadlines and broken relationships. But here's a question that cuts deeper. What happens when the storm isn't outside you? What happens when you're the one tearing yourself apart? When the voice in your head says, "You should have known better. You should have been stronger. You failed." This is where most people get stuck. They can handle outside chaos. What breaks them is their own judgment. The constant inner trial where you're both the accused and the judge. And the verdict is always guilty. There's a practice that undoes this pattern. It's not positive thinking. It's not pretending everything is fine. It's turning toward your own pain with the same kindness you'd offer a close friend. When a friend tells you they're struggling, you don't say, "Oh, well, you should have tried harder." Seek. You sit with them. You listen. You let them feel what they feel. Most of us never do this for ourselves. We save our kindness for others and punish ourselves with standards no human could meet. When people learn to reverse this habit, something remarkable happens. Their ability to bounce back from hardship grows. In one study, those gains showed up within weeks. And they didn't fade when the study ended. They lasted months. But why? What makes self-kindness so powerful? It's because your brain has 2 modes when it comes to distress. One is threat mode, heart pounding, muscles tight, ready to fight or flee. The other is soothing mode, warm, safe, connected. When you criticize yourself harshly, you trigger threat mode against yourself. Your own body treats you like a danger. When you offer yourself kindness, you flip into soothing mode. The war inside stops, and in that pause, you find room to heal. Now, there's a common belief that peace means reaching a state where nothing bothers you. A blank mind. Total calm. No thoughts, no feelings, just quiet. This is a myth, and it causes real harm. Because when people chase a blank mind and fail, they assume peace isn't for them. They give up. Real peace isn't the absence of waves. It's the depth beneath them. A river on the surface can be wild. White foam, sharp rocks, currents pulling in every direction. But deep down, the water moves slow and steady. Both things are true at once. The chaos and the calm exist together. This leads to something most people resist. The idea that nothing lasts. Your joy won't last, but neither will your pain. The project that failed, the relationship that ended, the health scare that shook you. They feel permanent in the moment, but they aren't. They never were. When people embrace this, not as a belief, but as a lived feeling, something shifts in how they relate to trouble. A broad study spanning many cultures found a strong link between accepting that things change and feeling satisfied with life. Not resigned, satisfied. There's a world of difference between those two words. Giving up says nothing matters. Acceptance says everything matters and it's all moving. Like watching a sunset. You don't resent the sun for going down. You don't clutch at the colors. You watch. You feel it. You let it go. And there's something deeply peaceful in that release. But there's a real objection here, and it deserves honest attention. Some people face suffering so deep that telling them to breathe and accept change feels like a slap. War, abuse, trauma so severe it rewires the brain. Can breathwork and watching your thoughts really touch that kind of pain? The honest answer is, these tools are not a replacement for real clinical help. They're not a cure-all. Anyone who says otherwise is selling something. But here's what's also true. Even in extreme conditions, these practices create windows of calm that would not exist otherwise. Among healthcare workers during one of the worst disease outbreaks in recent history, those who had basic training in these methods were far more likely to stay steady than those who didn't. Not because the tools erase trauma, but because they give you somewhere to stand when the ground is shaking. A ledge, a handhold, something solid when nothing else is. And this brings us to the final piece, the one that holds all the others together. Balance, not happiness, not bliss, balance. The ability to feel joy without clinging to it. The ability to feel pain without drowning in it. A steady center that doesn't break when life pushes hard. This isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, breath by breath, moment by moment, layer by layer. Like a stone pillar rising from the ground. Each practice adds another stone. And over time, that pillar stands firm even when everything around it is wind and debris. After structured practice, people's emotional balance grew by more than half. Months later, even without the same level of practice, much of that growth held. The pillar didn't crumble. It settled. It became part of who they were. But this pillar only works because of what lies beneath it. Pull out the breath, and the body stays in threat mode. Pull out the watching, and the mind spirals. Pull out the kindness, and self-judgment eats the roots. Pull out the acceptance of change, and you spend your life fighting a river that will never stop flowing. Each piece needs the others. They're not separate tools you pick from a drawer. They're layers of the same structure. And here's what nobody tells you about peace. It doesn't look the way you think it does. It's not sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop with a calm smile. Sometimes peace looks like crying but not breaking. Sometimes it looks like walking slowly through a terrible day and still being present for the people you love. Sometimes it looks like just breathing, nothing more, nothing less. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need the noise to stop. You don't need the world to behave. You need a place inside you that holds steady. And that place can be built. Not found, built. The people who report calm in the middle of disaster aren't special. They aren't wired differently. They practiced. They built their shelter before the storm hit. And when the storm came, they had somewhere to go. The question isn't whether life will fall apart. It will, more than once. The question is whether you'll have something inside you that doesn't. Every story leads somewhere. This one leads to a choice. If these words landed, if something shifted even slightly, there's more waiting for you on this channel. Stories that feed something deeper than scrolling ever could. Subscribe and let the next one find you. 3 in the morning, phone glowing, chest tight. But this time, you breathe, slow. A long breath in, a long breath out. And somewhere beneath the noise, beneath the worry, beneath everything that feels like it's falling, something holds, something you built, something that stays.